Yeah. Wake up with coffee and sports. Sunrise glow, listen coast to coast. A flow like you know.
Offensively, who made them? Oh, Patrick Mahomes.
Sideline to sideline with plays to show. This network's got the spark.
When you put up 300 yards rushing against someone, that you got your butt whooped.
I feel like I would have liked to see Oregon Ohio State in the semis, not the quarters. So I think some reseeding is probably where I would change. But
they're out of their mind. They're going to do this 3 quarterbacks in a row.
Here's the crazy.
I just can't take it.
Birds keep flying high, fans cheering loud, and one podcast moving through the crowd. Needy boys brawling, no holds barred bout. This wire life never in doubt. Tune into the vibe.
That's my bold prediction for the show. Devin Booker, in the next 3 years, he will be a Houston Rocket.
Because I still think Seth is still at the top of his game. I do. I think he's right there. Who knows? Maybe. Not this year, but one time soon. Why wouldn't we potentially see Seth and Roman? You know what I mean?
Tune in the vibe. Warning Rex, good centers. Got me on the mic now, let's spill the tea. Talking courtside dreams from history. Legends on the blacktop now and then. From Will to Steph, we hit it again. Open the chimes in, let's go deep. Young blood's rising, can't skip a beat. Ruppy prospects with fire in their eyes. Draft night suckers and hoop dream high. Wire to wire, bring the heat. Podcast magic can't be beat. Do better, but roll better. We're hoop heads, trendsetters.
What's poppin', y'all? It is your boy, Gardi3, and welcome to the And One podcast. Fresh off another fun, successful NBA season. We've crowned a new NBA champion. Congratulations to the New York Knicks. And of course, going from the Knicks, an all-time great playoff run, to an all-time great co-host. Ladies and gentlemen, he is Mo Better. How you doing, Mo?
I'm doing great. I've been fiending everybody to hop back on, get back in the swing of things, and talk hoops. And there's no better person to talk hoops with than my partner, the guy, my point guard. Gardi, not the 1, not the 2, but the 3. Good to be back, partner.
No, absolutely. But you know how it is, Mo. Of course, we got to do underrated player of the week. Plenty to choose from. Had a whole year of underrated play. And we got a whole W season going on. So, Mo, who is your underrated player of the week? I know I got some NBA. I got NBA Finals one. That was a lot of fun. There's a couple guys you could go with from the NBA Finals. I don't mind starting off. I'm gonna go with a guy I thought balled out not even just the finals, all playoff run for him. We had a lot of great performance on the New York Knicks, but my underrated player of the week, man, give me Landry Shamet. Such a great free agent pickup for him, and he was so good for them from behind the arc and just helping them keep so many leads and keeping them competitive in a lot of these games. So, you know, my underrated player of the week from the New York Knicks, shout out to Landry Shamet.
That's a really good one. Shamet was big. He made so many big shots, and he was actually an underrated defender as well. I like that choice. The guy I'm going to go with is also a Knick, but he's probably been a Knick for the shortest amount of time. but he brought so much energy. I thought his energy brought energy to his teammates. Big plays, big steals. A guy I've been a big fan of for years, and my underrated player is Jose Alvarado, Mr. Energy, Mr. Get Up Under into you, high level defender, great teammate. I'm just a big fan of him.
It felt like that was a big part of what shifted the finals. It's the Spurs only had like 6 guys you could reliably go to, and you could argue even less than that. And the Knicks just kept throwing person after person at the Spurs team. Like, they needed a boost, and I believe it was game 4, and they put Alvarado in, and he just completely flips the entire game around. Just truly an impressive array of depth that Knicks team was able to send out there.
And the weird thing is, coming into the series, I thought the Spurs were as deep, and really they are, but the guys that they relied on during the regular season, for example, Harrison Barnes was really good and solid for them all year long. Gave them little to nothing in the finals. Keldon Johnson is the reigning 6th man of the year. I think he had like one really good game, but he was ineffective outside of Greco-Roman wrestling with Cat. I just think that so much pressure was put on Wemby, Castle, and Harper. They just couldn't overcome it.
Somebody said the funniest thing about Keldon Johnson, and I won't forget it. Somebody goes, Keldon Johnson looks like if Boris Dia tried to play basketball like Giannis. I'm like, I get it. You're not wrong. He just looks like he's completely out of his element all of a sudden.
That's actually kind of, I don't know who said that, but that's actually kind of funny because I thought Keldon Johnson too many times was trying to do too much, like he was Giannis or a primary scorer. He didn't really play his role. And look, if you're a Spurs fan, of course you're disappointed you lost the finals. But look at the future that's ahead of you. Wemby's best basketball, Harper's best basketball, Castle's best, but that's way ahead of them. I truly believe that all 3 of them, obviously Wemby's already there, but I think Castle's going to be an all-star. I think Harper's going to be better than Castle. So it's going to be very interesting. But I think the Spurs going forward, the only question mark about their team, and I think you might agree on this, is what are they going to do with De'Aaron Fox?
I actually think the Fox situation is more straightforward than a lot of people really take it. Like, a lot of people are like, well, you got to move him, you got to trade him. I completely disagree. One, you trade him right now, you're trading him at his lowest value, and that's never a good idea. I think your best bet is to hold on to him, and if you want to trade him, try again next offseason. Look, the big thing with me is we can talk about how bad Fox played, and he did play bad. We can acknowledge that. But one takeaway I also had from this playoff run is Castle's not ready for a high offensive load. Anytime Fox did have to miss games, Castle's turnovers spiked through the roof. So I actually think the Fox situation is pretty just let him play next year, show to the league that, hey, I'm back, full power, full speed. And more importantly, like, you got to first make sure that Castle's ready to handle a heavier ball handling load and not throwing it to the other team in a new and creative way every possession. So, like I said, I think Fox is safe next year for sure. And I think it'd actually be dumb on the Knicks to move him right now. I mean, Knicks, the Spurs.
Yeah, and look, I'm actually a De'Aaron Fox fan, but I think we talked about this during the regular season. I don't think he's a long-term Spur, and it's not even about what he did in the finals. I think his time with the Spurs is conditional to the development of Castle and Harper. And I agree with you that Castle is not ready to be a lead guard, but he's not a lead guard. He's a two guard. They played him at point guard, but he's not a point guard. He's a two guard. And Harper is not a point guard. He's a 2 or a 3. So while I get it, Fox is the better ball handler, but he's a better ball handler by default. He's a lead guard. I would say that, yeah, he could be safe, but it wouldn't shock me if they moved on from him. Like, they need a point guard, but I don't think they need a point guard at the price that they're paying for him when he's their 4th best player at best. And here's the thing about De'Aaron Fox. I admire his talent and his natural ability. And he was the best player on a Kings team, but it was a bad Kings team. They went on one run, and obviously they lost in the first round. So when people go, he's got playoff experience, he's got that one run. That's it. He's not really that. He doesn't have a lot of playoff experience. He certainly doesn't have a lot of experience with winning. I think De'Aaron Fox is talented. I think he's a star. And certainly he's not the reason they lost the finals, but he didn't play well. He does come with a high price tag. And if you look at the breadth of his career, I don't think he's ever averaged more than 6, maybe 6 or 7 assists, probably 6 assists a game. But he's not a natural lead guard. He's more of a scorer than he's a lead, than he is a passer. So I think there's value for him. But do I think that he's like, there's certain players in every franchise where you're like, he's untouchable. I don't think De'Aaron Fox is untouchable. I think there are 3 players on the Spurs that are untouchable, and he's not one of them.
I'd say I would almost argue that there's 2 players on the Spurs that are untouchable. I'm very high.
Well, I'm just saying
yeah.
I think Harper is better than Castles, and a lot of people will disagree with me and say I'm crazy, but I'm like, sometimes you can see it, the eye test, it just shows. Castle, freakish athlete, incredibly strong. He's going to have an amazing career. That said, I still think Harper's going to have an even better career.
Oh, I agree. And like when I say that there's only 2 that are untouchable, in my opinion, I think Castle's in that area where he should be like almost impossible to obtain, but not impossible to obtain. Like, I feel like for the most part, he's pretty untouchable unless it's the right deal. But I also feel like you shouldn't move on from someone like Castle unless you're really getting back like a top, fringe, at least a fringe all NBA player on the way back.
Well, partner, this is the silly season, right? When every NBA season ends, we talk about what happens in the finals, and then we move straight into the insane rumors and trade rumors and demands. I've already heard people saying, why wouldn't the Spurs go after Trae Young? And I'm like, because I don't actually think Trae Young would be a good fit for them. I'm not saying that Trae Young, obviously he's talented and he's never played with somebody like Wemby or even some of the other guys in that roster, but I just don't think that he's, if you don't like the Spurs, there's a place for Trae Young, but I don't think it's in San Antonio.
I'd say I think Trae Young just ends up going back to Washington. I think he goes back to Washington.
Let me ask you this: when you heard he opted out, did you think that was a big deal, or to me, I thought he just did a smart move. He opted out so he can come back on a shorter deal with more guaranteed money. That's what I think.
Oh, absolutely. I think it's going to be very similar. I believe it was back in like 2018 or 2019. Chris Paul signed that extension with the Rockets. I think it'll be somewhere around there. Like, hey, you're not getting 48 mil this year, but like if they instead go, hey, 3 years, 120 mil is like 40 a year, add in like an extra, 80 mil guaranteed, or maybe make the last year partially guaranteed or a player option that'll opt out of. Either way, I really didn't surprise me because I think it's smart right now with Trae to try to capitalize on long-term money right now before the league just gets out on small guards again. You finally got small guard, like positive momentum going right now, Trae. Get that bag. Say so. By the way, I
Right.
can tell. I can tell the offseason started, Mo, because I've already seen posts like this. I have, because this one's
What?
hilarious. Which one's the best player? And by the way, there is a very clear best answer here. It's Luka plus Asor's defense is probably just the greatest player in NBA history.
Wow, Luca with a Source defense. I'll take that guy.
Like that's just
I'll
the
take
greatest.
him.
Like that's just the greatest player in NBA history at that point. By the way, I love how some of these.
The
I say good.
I'm not sure. So the Cade with Westbrook speed, I don't think that changes a lot
It does
because of Cade's game. I don't think that changes much of anything. The Wemby with a skyhook is interesting, but my other thoughts on that would be that he doesn't need a skyhook. He can do things because he doesn't move like a natural center. He moves like a two guard or a small forward. He's got a face up game. Got a pull up jumper. The guy crosses people up off the dribble. I think instead of using skyhook, if you told me Wemby with a really refined post game to go along with what he already does, that would be more interesting to me than skyhook.
I also just don't think Wemby can do the skyhook. I know a lot of people have talked about, well, imagine if Wemby learned the skyhook. Here's my concern with a Wemby and a skyhook. A big part of why that, Kareem made it so effective was how not only big Kareem was, but how strong he was on the lower body. So you couldn't move him. So he had like perfect balance. He was in full control every time. With Wemby, the problem is you can move Wemby. You can knock him off balance. I just watched the Knicks do. I just watched teams just, kind of knock him off his spot quite often with, smaller and, bulkier players. So I think there's like different games that Wemby can learn from. And I'm sure there's some good post moves he can steal from Kareem. But I just don't know if he has like the base and body type and like muscle to stay balanced enough to pull off like consistently doing the skyhook. I think there's just too many guys that can knock him off balance and knock him off his spot.
I agree with
like
that. Yeah, I agree with that wholeheartedly. I would say that this idea that he's got to gain X amount of pounds and all, I don't agree with that. I think that he can get stronger, but he doesn't have to put on 25 or 45 pounds. I mean, he doesn't have more time to develop. I keep telling people, like, you guys talk about him like, well, he needs to fix this and fix that, as if he's been in the league 8 years. This is year 3, and he just lost in the finals. Like, let's just let him develop. If he just naturally develops, he's going to be that much more scarier. He doesn't need a skyhook. A great point. He doesn't have the body type to be down there trying to bang. And I'll give Mitch Johnson credit. He made some mistakes, but he's a young coach. I'm a fan of his. I think that just like his players, his core, he's learning. People forget Mitch Johnson is super young and he's learning on the fly. But Mitch Johnson was smart enough to run sets that always had Wemby either on the move or on the perimeter.
No, absolutely. And my thing too,
I love that comment, by the way, Kyle. That's facts.
The funny part is I think there is a hook shot that he can learn, but in all reality with Wemby, I think you kind of pointed out like the face-up game and like more so being on the move is more his speed. So I don't need a skyhook, but like if Wemby decided to add that little Tim Duncan sweeping hook shot across the lane, like, yeah, I'm in. Get him, keep him moving. Yeah, you can build a lot of fun stuff off, just off that little hook shot alone. But yeah, like I saw someone post like, Wemby's got to watch this guy, and it was an Al Jefferson highlight montage. I'm like, he can't just body people like that though. Big Al is just different. with like in that sense.
And Al Jefferson had to have that methodical back to the basket game because Al Jefferson was as athletic as a short order cook. So he had to have a slow, methodical back to the basket game. He had zero athleticism or quickness or anything else.
I think the funniest part about this graphic though is everybody's like, we're gonna give you one like ridiculous physical like advantage or a big massive trait, and Wemby's just we're gonna give you a go-to shot. Like you're already such an outlier, and we're just gonna give you a go-to shot. You're giving like Brunson 4 inches, Luka's getting the most absurd athletic upgrade of all time. K gets Westbrook speed, which doesn't do much for him. Wemby, just learn that skyhook, buddy.
Right.
Cade and Westbrook's speed is so funny because like Cade's biggest frustration, at least with me, is him missing like bunnies at the rim. Like he is such a frustratingly bad finisher around the rim for someone his size. So I look at him with Westbrook's speed, I'm like, what's that gonna accomplish? Like he's gonna blow by just to miss another point blank layup. Like I love Cade, but like feel like you could have picked a different attribute than say, we're just going to make him faster because I don't think I really love him that much.
Or maybe go another way. How about a Seward Thompson with Ray Allen's jump shot?
Oh, excellent! That's just the greatest player of all time. See, that would have been fun. Like I said, I said like the Cade and Westbrook one is just an oddball one to me.
Like I said, it's the silly. You're probably seeing it too. I'm seeing more insane graphics and comparisons. I know you've probably come across 10 or 20. Is Jalen Brunson the best player in basketball? Is Jalen Brunson a top 5 basketball player? Is Jalen Brunson a top 10 point guard all time? I'm a huge Brunson fan, and he just did something that hadn't been done in 53 years in New York Knicks lore. I'm not sure we should be talking about the all-time thing. If you want to have an all-time thing about him where the Knicks, where he ranks among Knicks, I think you can do that. Even with this incredible run in the season that he's had and how he's played since he's been with the Knicks, I don't think he's a top 5 point guard all time. I without thinking, just off the top of my head, I don't think he's a top 10 point guard all time. He could be when it's all said and done. And I like to tell people this, let's let his career play out. If you want to make this a really, really great conversation, if he's able to win a second title, and I'm not saying back to back, let's just say he wins 2 titles in his tenure with the Knicks, along with obviously the usual all-star, all-NBA accolades, then you got a conversation for all-time this or all-time that. I would rather us just appreciate what he's done or what he did and see what he continues to do going forward. What we've learned in the current NBA is winning championships is hard, but in the current NBA, repeating is a lot harder.
So, you know what's funny, Mo? Just for fun, I actually posted that on the
And you're a Bucks fan. So as much as people are talking about Brunson, I know.
Yeah, it's ironic because I was curious and I posted same question on the and one page. So far, people haven't gone too overboard with it.
There it is. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say I think in terms of Knicks greats, you probably just throw him on the Mount Rushmore of Knicks already. Whatever. Like, that's fine. I would say he's not the greatest Knick of all time quite yet. I think he's got to be there for a little bit longer to match guys like Walt Clyde Frazier and Willis Reed. But I think that's fine. I think he'll end up being the greatest Knick of all time by the time he retires, as long as he doesn't, like, dip after his contract expires. Hey, New York starting Brunson, for sure.
I mean, Kyle's right. Sometimes I know this is part of us being sports fans is, man, we get caught up in the moment and we just immediately go like there's a graphic that came across my Facebook page that said, well, for whatever reason, they had to pull him in, but it was Michael Jordan's never faced a guard better than Jalen Brunson. And I was like, finals? That happened. He played against Magic in the finals. I'm not sure I'm ready to place Jalen Brunson ahead of Clyde Drexler all the time. No offense to Jalen Brunson, and I love Jalen Brunson, but that we are really prisoner of the moment sometimes. I want to give him his flowers, and say I will say this. This is the thing that I don't mind having a debate over. Living in the present. Right now, today, in the current NBA, we knew who the top 10 players were coming into this season. We've gone through this season. Brunson and Knicks just won it all. He's finals MVP, all that good stuff. Is Jalen Brunson now a top 10 player in the NBA?
I think he's top 10.
I think he's top 10. And here's something that I thought was crazy when I first heard it, but then I thought about it some more. I was like, is it really crazy? If Luka's top 3, I think people have Luka in the top 3, or at worst top 5. It's curious that how much better is he than Brunson?
Let's say I would.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like, because we know that Luka's obviously he's 6'8", so and he can post game, a perimeter game. He's also an elite passer. Like as an offensive talent, you can rank Luka against a lot of players. But I'm not talking about numbers. I'm just talking about your impact on a game. I don't know that Luka's levels better than Jalen Brunson. I think he's been levels better than Jalen Brunson. But if this is Jalen Brunson going forward, well, what he's done, he's as accomplished, clearly, because he's won a title. Luka has not. Neither one of them has won a regular season MVP. And we'll go into next season. Luka dropped 38-8, and Brunson will probably be in his usual around 26-6-6 or something like that. Yeah, I used to just look at that and go, yes, Luka's better than Brunson. Let's move on to the next question. I think it's closer than people realize. Like Luka, I think his superpower is just his overall offensive versatility. Jalen Brunson's superpower isn't even physical. I think his superpower is his mental toughness. He's one of the most mentally tough players in the NBA. And his confidence never wavers.
I will say, I think the one big benefit of this run is I think he finally separated, because I know there's a lot of talks about when we're ranking guards. There's a lot of conversation before the year started, like, who's better, Jalen Brunson or Donovan Mitchell? Oh, I know he got himself out of that in like Donovan Mitchell talk, so I'd say that definitely helps.
100%.
So he's
100%.
He was in that weird like subsection.
I'll go
with
you
Donovan
a step
Mitchell
further.
And Booker.
I think he's ahead of a lot of guards who are literally bigger than him. I don't think he has to take a second. He doesn't have to take a back seat to Donovan Mitchell, Cade Cunningham, Jaylen Brown. I think there are a lot of all NBA players that Jalen Brunson has leaped over, if you will. And like I said, I'm impressed with him because of what he did to be a second round pick, and not an early second round pick, but a late second round pick, and do what he's done in his career. It's amazing. And to turn himself not just into a star, but a top 10 player. And arguably, he's probably, because some people say, well, he's number 10. I don't think so. I think he's higher than that. I think he's higher than that. And if you look at the people that we normally give those accolades to, the usual, right? It's Giannis, it's Joker. It's like a lock. Whenever you say top 5, there's 2 names that are always in the top 5: Giannis, Joker, and Luka, I guess, would be the third guy. And SGA, obviously, because the guy just won back-to-back MVPs. but I think there is a room there for Brunson to be 6, 7.
Say, I feel like Brunson is doing something I think is pretty incredible. I think starting next year, like you're looking at a real conversation of is this next year the year where we're finally bumping Steph Curry out of the top 3 point guard talks? And obviously, I'm just talking about going forward, not all the time or anything.
100%.
Even at like age 37, Steph, that is still would be an incredible feat if next year rolls around and Steph's out of like, 'cause it feels like it's been for well over a decade. It feels like it's been forever since Steph hasn't been considered a top 3 guard. But say Jalen Brunson's emergence might kind of force us into I guess, an uncomfortable conversation. I don't think it's that uncomfortable. It might force us into a conversation of is Steph's time as a top 3 guard finally up?
I think that's a fair conversation, and it's an honest conversation. This is because, like you said, so no one's confused. This isn't about saying who was a better player. This is about 37, going to be 38-year-old Steph still being a top 3 guard, finally not being a top 3 guard. I don't think that's even insulting. I think people forget 38-year-old Steph Curry, just like we were saying 42-year-old LeBron James, 37-year-old Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
Like, in a weird way, we're kind of giving the old guard their flowers out of those conversations because they're all still playing at such high levels.
And the funny part about Steph and the scary thing of how good he is, it's not even like we're throwing him completely out of the club. Like that man can still very well come next year and be like, hey, by the way, put these Brunson talks away. I'm still the best point guard on the planet, and it wouldn't shock me. But yeah, no, it's one of those things with Steph. The fact that these guys, even like you said, KD and Brown, the fact that they're still playing at this all NBA level at ages 36, 37, 38, just truly incredible. We haven't really seen anything like that. Say, because even guys
let me ask you here.
Go ahead.
Let me ask you this question. Brunson obviously is at the peak of his powers. And you and I agree he's currently a top 10 player in the current NBA. But someone put out this question to me, and they said, so you're saying definitely that Jalen Brunson is better than LeBron James. And I said, that's interesting. But I get it, right? Because LeBron is still, we just gave him his flowers. He's playing at an incredibly high level. He's an all NBA player still. And he's certainly still a star. I'm not saying he's better than him, at the peak of their powers, but right now, today, LeBron's probably still a better all-around player, but in terms of the impact they have on games, Brunson has a bigger impact. He has a bigger impact. LeBron still puts up really good numbers. He's still effective, but just think of how the Lakers play him. He was third option this year. And he played well at it, but he was a third option. We're talking about him being third option. I think that Brunson is every bit as effective as Luka is. Of course he's better than LeBron right now. He is. He's better than LeBron. I don't think it's an insult. There's a few guys in the league that are better than LeBron, but this isn't to say. And here's the crazy part. I'm saying he's better than LeBron, and LeBron's 42. If I said, well, LeBron was 38, well, no, he wouldn't be better than 38-year-old LeBron. That's how great a player LeBron was at 38. But I'm talking about right now, this day.
Yeah, I would say at this point, like I would take in terms of, for example, obviously every year I like to rank my top 30 players in the league. Try to predict how that's going to play out, and I have no doubt I'm going to put Brunson over LeBron next year. By the way, speaking of LeBron, it's the perfect transition, Mo. I got one more fun game for us to play. How about a game of rank these blocks? So we got OG Anunoby's block on De'Aaron Fox, Giannis on Ayton, LeBron on Iggy, and Mo, one you'll appreciate, and because I think it's criminally underrated when we're talking about all-time great blocks, Hakeem on Starks. Like I said, the theme is NBA Finals block shots. So, Mo, in your opinion, how would you rank these 1 to 4?
This is just my opinion in terms of the moment that when they both all of them happened. I think LeBron James' block on Iggy is arguably the greatest defensive play in NBA history. So I got that 1. I think Giannis's block on Ayton is 2. That was an amazing. If you see that live, the athleticism he showed to recover, get there, and meet him at the summit, that's amazing. That, we talk about Wemby being an alien. Giannis is an alien. So I got that 2. I actually have Akeem 3 and then OG. I think OG block is a great block, but I think it's the weakest of the 4.
No, that's fair. It's funny when people were like, when the Spurs were down 3-1 and people started talking about like when they were down 2-0 and they're like, it's all right. Giannis did it against Phoenix. I'm like, you don't have Giannis is kind of a problem right now. Like, I think people kept misunderstanding at that point. It's like, dude, this isn't the problem. Is like Wemby isn't that refined offensively. You don't have that offensive demon to turn to like Giannis did when he just said, yeah, you know what, I'm just going to go drop 37 a game through games like 3 and 6. Like, they didn't have ironically, the closest thing they had to keep the Knicks off balance was Dylan Harper, and Mitch kept pulling them. So, but honestly, when that Giannis block happened, immediately my first instinct when I saw, how like it was 2v1, I'm like, oh, wrap it up. They're going to throw the lob to Ayton, easy 2. And then he played both. I'm like, there's no way that just happened.
I'm glad you brought that up. What makes that such an amazing play is he actually played 2 people. It was 2-on-1 essentially, and he guarded both of them.
No, absolutely. Say that it truly was incredible. We got LeBron, Giannis, Hakeem for the one that was a foul. Fair. Yeah, they showed the different replay angles after. I'm like, oh wow, that's a lot of risk.
Right. And look, those are all great plays, but yeah, the Giannis one was the more play for me. LeBron's with it was. I remember in the moment came out of seat. Let me ask you a question. So I heard something today, and I thought, no, that can't be true. And then I went to YouTube to find the video, and he did say that, and I was like, what? I was like, I do not agree with that. I don't know if you heard this. You're a huge Buck fan, so you probably heard it. Apparently, on his show, Michael Wilbon says something like, I'm done with Giannis because how he worded. He said the last few years when it matters the most, Giannis hasn't done anything. And he seems more like anti-Giannis rant. And I couldn't disagree with somebody more. I don't agree with any of that. I think Giannis is rightfully so one of the 5 best players in basketball still. I believe he's still at the peak of his powers. I get it. He's had some nagging injuries in recent seasons, but let's assume he's going to be healthy as a horse going into next season. I think Giannis is going to play with a chip on his shoulder. You hear guys like LeBron make that phrase "scorched earth." I think Giannis is going to have a scorched earth season. I was getting ready to say for the Bucks, but I'll say for wherever he may play. I think he's going to be on the Bucks, but there's rumors galore.
Yeah. So that whole thing was weird to me when he decided to go nuts and say that Giannis hasn't done anything.
Yeah,
Considering the
that was
fact
crazy.
he's been like an absolute monster in the playoffs, right? Like you can argue that you can obviously say the Bucks as a team underwhelmed, but you can't really say that Giannis underwhelmed. The closest thing he had to
Agreed.
the closest thing you could say that Giannis had to an underwhelming series was 2023. And obviously that's him hurting his back in game 1 with a nasty fall and say but
Right.
like
Right.
here's Giannis's number since 2021 just for shits and giggles cuz he didn't do anything since then. But if we include 2021, which the numbers are about the same regardless if you include it or not, is you're averaging 30, 13, and 5. Almost 6. 5.8 assists. You can round up, but we'll give it a 5.
That's insane.
Like, the dude comes into the playoffs every year, is this unstoppable monster, and then like, Wilborn wants to throw out that narrative? Come on. It's so beyond dumb. And I think a take like that is just it's very surface level. The problem with that at the end of the day
Yeah.
is
Agree.
like if we're being real honest, that's just not watching the game. If you're Michael Wilborn, you just admitted you don't watch Bucks games. If you watch the Bucks playoff runs and you thought Giannis was the problem in those, I really don't know what to tell you. Like 2022, I think I could have been the point guard of the Bucks and put out the same offensive production as whatever Drew Holiday was doing. Was this an infinitely bigger issue than anything Giannis was doing, especially after Chris went out in 2022? We always said 2023 he has a back injury. 2024 he's hurt. Then 2025 Dame's Achilles goes. So it's one of those things where Giannis is good enough. Bucks just aren't. It's that simple. The Bucks as a whole just haven't fielded a good enough team. The last time they had a real shot was obviously 2022,
Exactly.
but in 2022, Drew just completely shrunk when he needed to take on a bigger role, and it effectively ended the championship window because obviously then we do the Dame trade, and then Dame just deals with injuries the entire time. But I think the real takeaway with Giannis and the Bucks is Giannis was ready to compete for titles after 2021. The Bucks just were not. Some of it in their
Right.
control, some of it out of their control. They can't do anything about
And
Chris Middleton slipping on a wet spot on the floor, and that's fine.
right.
That happens to everybody at a certain point. They're just sometimes things are out of your hands.
I heard him say, and look, normally Wilbon's a really smart, thoughtful dude. But when he said that, I cringed because I'm like, if you feel that way about Giannis since they won the title, then tell me you feel that way about Joker since he won his title. You know what I'm saying? Joke, we acknowledge Joker's still a beast, but he's had the same problem that Giannis had. The surrounding cast wasn't quite as good as it was the year they won the title. They've had injuries too. A guy that we both like, Aaron Gordon. I love Aaron Gordon, but the problem with Aaron Gordon is he can't stay healthy. Aaron Gordon, and he's always hurt at the worst time in the playoffs. And Jamal Murray is incredible. He had a career year last year, but he kind of flamed out in the postseason. I'm just saying. Yes, he did say that, and he said it with a straight face, Kyle. He said I would take Tyler Hero over Yanni. What?
I heard that, and I pretty much just reenacted the Tony Allen segment with Rashad Ricketts immediately. Boy, it's out the mud. Like, come on, like
people. Like I said, every offseason, insanity starts, and it starts at all times, and it's only going to get worse because I believe the draft is Tuesday. It's going to be worse. All the hypotheticals. The Giannis didn't get worse. His play, his production, it didn't drop. The surrounding cast was inferior. The cast that they had the year they won the title, they kind of fell apart. Drew got a little older, a little slower. Middleton was injury prone. It happens. And then when they tried to fix things and add other players, the players they brought in, they didn't work out. Not as well. That's not on Giannis. Giannis was still Giannis. Giannis is still, you could look up in the box score 30, 13, and 6 or more. That was there. What he didn't have a ride or die 2 or 3. And you know how dire things got for Giannis. He started trying to rely on Kyle Kuzma. You're not, if you got to turn to Kyle Kuzma for help, you're in trouble.
I don't think people understood how much I was fighting for my life in that Pacers series because I'm just trying so hard to enjoy the NFL draft in Green Bay that weekend. But at 90% of the time is me talking to my buddy I'm with, Kenny. I'm like, Kenny, I think that was a great pick. Kuzma, what the? Hit your layups. All right, hey, I think that was a great pick. Kuzma! Like, I don't think people can understand how tragic it was watching Kuzma that series. He shot 35% at the rim. And people are trying to tell me that, like, Giannis lost that series. I'm like, buddy, I just watched Kuzma throw up brick after brick at the rim. And I just watched Gary Trent have his, Nick Anderson moment at the free throw line. Like,
oh, yes.
I literally just watched the parts around Giannis melt down, and you want me to point the finger at Giannis? Like, by the way, I feel like that's I feel like that would be the biggest reason to do a Fox trade right away. If you're paranoid that he mentally won't be able to get over the couple of really big meltdowns that he had if he can't get over the block and then the foul. I feel like the mental aspect of it is the one factor that it's really hard to judge if a Fox trade is coming, by the way. Because if he's like mentally shot, if you don't think that's going to come back, then yeah, you might actually have to move on. Because we've seen it before, obviously, mainly with Anderson. He missed those free throws in the playoffs, and he just mentally never recovered. So
his Brett, when he after those free throws in the finals he missed, he was never the same player again. And when I say never the same player, you can go back and look at Nick Anderson's career. Nick Anderson, for anybody that knows or remembers, was a 2 guard for the Orlando Magic, but he was one of those power 2 guards. He would take other 2 guards into the post and just wear them out and get to the foul line. He was just that's what he did. He missed those 2 free throws. Well, not just those 2, but he just, after that, he couldn't make any free throws. But my point is, going forward, the rest of his career, Nick Anderson primarily only shot threes. He went out of his way not to get to the basket, not to get fouled. He was a shell of himself. He just never recovered.
I mean, I'd say to a smaller extent, too. That's what happened with Gary Trent Jr. after that turnover. Like this past year, he didn't look like the same Gary Trent that we were talking about a 4-year, $70 million contract for, like, at all. So I think that is the one thing I forgot to mention in a Fox trade where, like, the mental aspect, if you don't think he's going to get over the hump, then sure, move on from him. But that will be an interesting, like, little mini series when the season starts next year to see if how does Fox look, and is he mentally over what transpired at the end of this season?
Let me ask you something, partner. Do you think there's going to be any major trades this offseason?
I feel like there's going to be at least one, and it might be, I feel like there's going to be one. But I can't say who, because last year it was an out of nowhere Desmond Bane trade that nobody was expecting. But I feel like we're going to get some kind of fireworks this year, but I just don't know where. So I guess I'm trying to look past like the obvious Buck stuff. Like, all right, who else can we move besides like Giannis and Jaylen Brown in every trade?
Yeah, that's what I said. I'm like, if I'm the Bucks GM, I'm still looking to try to make moves to bring people in around Giannis. I just trading Giannis to me is it's like a Hail Mary. If that's my only option, then I guess that's what I'll do. But I'm not going into the offseason going, I know what we're doing. We're definitely getting rid of Giannis and going for. I'm not doing that. A transcendent player, they just don't come along like that. If you just think about the Bucks history, there's been some really good players in Bucks history, but when you use the term transcendent, that would be Kareem, and then that would be Giannis. That's it. There's been some all-stars, some terrific players, but transcended 2 guys.
Yeah, and that's why when people ask me, "What do you want to do?" Like I always tell them, like I want to keep Giannis. I want to be a Buck for life. Like at the end of the day, like I'd rather have Giannis here than whatever we get in a trade package. I know we'd get a haul, but like honestly, I'd rather just enjoy watching Giannis as a Milwaukee Buck his entire career. Like that seems more fun to me. Like I've seen the dark days of the Milwaukee Bucks just struggling to be a 508 seed. Like I don't need to go back to that. Like I'd rather just watch Giannis dominate because I already know that once he leaves, I'm not getting that again for a while to that extent.
Nobody is. And look, you've seen dark. We've all seen dark days as sports fans, but you probably saw the game that what was that kid that you guys drafted? Everybody thought was going to be a big stud, and his biggest claim to fame was he tried to karate kick somebody.
Thon Maker.
Yes, Maker. That's his biggest claim to fame.
We got the oddballs, man. Like when you started saying that, I'm like, I feel like we're gonna. For a second, I thought you were gonna mention Yee. I'm like, oh man, Yee, the infamous working out in an empty gym story to get drafted is still so funny. But
Right.
I've just seen too many Buck seasons like with non-transcendent players, with not even good players. So now that I have a transcendent player, I'm like, yeah, I don't want to let this go. I'm good. Like I had to watch full seasons with like John Salmons as my leading scorer. Like,
Remember John Salmons?
Giannis. Underrated free throw drawer. That man knew how to get to the line.
And I'm with you. I'm like, let's let Giannis, if he plays out his whole career with the Bucks, maybe you win another title, maybe you don't. But what will happen is you'll get to see a transcendent player. He's probably going to end up making, I don't know, 14, 15 All-Stars, 14, 15 All-NBA teams, maybe win another MVP. Like, I know the goal is to win a title, but when you have somebody that's really special and you know he's a one-off, I'm not in a rush to part ways with that guy.
Say, by the way, Mo, one of the guys on a TikTok, the old man, Chill, he looked like he was stressing when I opened up Twitter. I opened up Twitter, and for some reason, he's in a debate with some, like, a newer basketball fan, which is the most 50-50 thing you can do. Because they're either, like, ring culture coded or they, like, know what they're talking about, and it feels like there's no in between.
Right.
Now, poor guy's trying to debate him, like, yeah, so, you know who's better than Tim Duncan? Evan Mobley. I'm like, oh, dear Lord. Let's not do that.
What?
We're having Tim Duncan versus Evan Mobley combos. I'm like, oh, Lord.
I can feel Chill's pain. I had an argument just last night. I had to argue with some idiot why Steph wasn't better than LeBron. And his biggest point of view was, or his biggest point was, LeBron only beat Steph one time, and the only one time he did it was because Andrew Bogut got hurt. And I'm like, and so you're discounting when Steph beat LeBron in 2015 and there was no Kyrie and there was no Kevin Love. And that was still a 6-game series. And he was, and I was like, and by the way, the Bogut thing is bogus. Like, they had a home game 7 and they went scoreless the last 4 minutes. The one thing I know Andrew Bogut isn't going to help them with in the last 4 minutes is scoring. He would have changed nothing.
Let's say they had their better scoring options out there like that. They say the defense was fine. Yeah, they just had to put the ball in the basket, and Bogut wasn't even the best center at their team at doing that, ironically. That
Facts.
was what was the name? Mo Buckets. Mo Spates was better at putting the ball in the basket than Bogut.
Mo Spates was their best center. Facts.
Like, you can make an argument that, like, him and Festus Ezeli probably about the same level as scorer.
Oh,
like,
I forgot about Ezeli, another good player.
But yeah, no, they still had quality centers behind them. I do think the Bogut injury was huge because I don't think either Festus nor Spates can match up what Bogut does defensively. But Yeah, at the end of the day, when you have a chance, you're tied 89 at home, 4.5 minutes to go. Like, if you go scoreless, I think at that point, that's just not Andrew Bogut's not fixing that. Like,
Right. And then I pointed out that too. I was like, you do know when they go scoreless, that counts. Steph was part of that. The unanimous MVP was right there. Like, it's hard to go scoreless 4 minutes in an NBA game. I'm like, you might be missing a lot of shots, but you can't get to the foul line. You can't draw a foul, shoot some free something. Like, this is supposed to be like high-powered offense. Remember how, the Warriors high-powered offense, the 73 wins, all that good stuff, and they go scoreless.
no, absolutely. It was quite the watch, that's for sure. I remember watching that ironically at work. I was working at a place up in Cooperstown, New York, and I just, everybody was inside watching this game 7. So I just kind of, I think I ended up like finding the nearest TV that I was playing on, just watching the game. It was definitely a fun one. Thon Maker, one of the all-time hype team legends with Bol Bol. Hey, that Bol Bol's, he's good. He'll be as good as Wemby if you give him a role. That's like Wemby, right? According to Shaq.
Well,
All right,
if you listen to Shaq, Bol Bol's right there. Right there.
all right, I got 2 more fun ones for you, Mo. First off, I gotta pull this one up. The Sportster Sporting News came out with their all-time All-NBA teams, best single seasons by position. What makes this interesting to me is it looks like, well, first off, they went with the old like All-NBA format, doing 2 forwards, 2 guards, and a center. So we're not just literally loading up the best seasons onto every team, but it's just, this list throws me off, Mo, because I don't see Shaq. There's no Shaq on here, and it's throwing me off, and I don't like it.
Oh, wait a minute. He's not on there. Oh, you're right. I just noticed that. Wow. I will say this. I'm a little biased, even though I appreciate everything Shaq done as a Laker. All time, I actually do rate. I think Hakeem was better than Shaq. I do. I think he was better than Shaq. But at the same time, if you've got a first, second, and third team, he's got to no worse be on your third team. So the fact that he's not on there at all, I think that's a travesty.
Hey, you know what, Mo? We can do one for next week. We'll do it 78 on post-merger.
I like it.
Say, the real question, we'll decide right now. Would you want to do it positions like this or positionless? Just like
I think we should do a position list and just go with who the best players are.
Bet. So perfect. Yeah, we'll just do it like normal. Perfect. All right, bet. So yeah, no, that'll be fun for next week. But yeah, I thought we'd take a look. I thought they had a couple of fun ones on here.
I will say this: that second team has the potential to be the greatest defensive team ever. I mean, Duncan, Olajuwon, and Garnett. Oh my God! Like, Magic's not a good defender, but I mean, he's capable of being. But with those 3. And Kobe can play defense at a high level. Like, it wouldn't be hard to hide Magic. Like, that is insane. Like, because both Garnett and Olajuwon can play in space, and Tim Duncan is very mobile in terms of his ability to recover. Like, that might be one of the most dominant starting 5s defensively I've ever seen. And the crazy part is, everybody on the starting 5 can also score. Like, Magic's probably in terms of being a scorer, is the least polished of the group, but you can book KD, Duncan, Olajuwon, and Kobe all for 20 plus easy a night. Like, that team on both ends of the floor is actually pretty impressive.
It feels, it feels like the second team could really just beat any of the other 2 teams.
I think it's the best team. Yeah, I really do. I think it's the best team.
I think the hardest part about that team, maybe on the defensive end, Mo, is how are you supposed to really run a half-court offense? Because, like, when your shortest person in the lineup is Kobe, like, that is absurd to me. Because what do you mean? Like, how are you supposed to sit there trying to run actions and throw these passes in the half court. Like, everything you throw is got to get tipped. So it's got to be the most methodical, slow-paced offense going against this team because they're getting 100 transition leak-out buckets if you get too reckless because, man, that is a long team.
I think you hit the nail on the head. They would be great, but they would have to play a certain deliberate style. But look at that team. Like, I don't think they're too concerned with transition defense because they're going to dominate the boards. Garnett, Olajuwon, and KG are all dominant rebounders at the peak of their powers. And Magic he's good for 7 rebounds a game. I think Kobe's averaging like 6. But I think they would definitely be a walk it up, very methodical team. And look, with Olajuwon, Duncan, and Garnett, there could be spacing issues, but Garnett can step away from the basket and shoot a jump shot from 16, 18 feet away. Olajuwon's good from 12 feet away. Duncan's got that little 15-foot banker or whatever. They would be a very, very, like I said, I think they might be the worst offensive team up there, but I think the overall impact, I still think that's the best team.
You know what's funny, too, with Kevin Garnett? Somebody posted a montage, and I was watching the video of a Kevin Garnett Deep 2 montage. I loved watching it. A lot of people are so confused, though. They're like, just take a step back. And I'm like, dude, he shot like 48% on those deep 2s. Like, he was stupid efficient at it. I feel like people, too, on the just take a step back don't realize that even like one step back just completely alters your rhythm and your mechanics. So, like,
Right.
AG found his spot. It was a very bizarre spot to be comfortable from, but he found his spot and he made a living off of it. So, you know what? Buck the trend, KG. Take that 22-foot deep 2. Love it.
I'm just a big KG fan.
Brunson has to be first teamer. Stephen A will show up at your door.
He'll show up at your door. He show up at my door getting banged on. But yeah, yes, that's facts. Kobe and KG are psycho competitor. I think Olajuwon is, but it's more understated. But yeah, I just think Olajuwon and Duncan are those quiet type leaders that they're fierce competitors, but they don't do it vocally. They just do it through their actions. But then you would have Kobe and KG being 2 psychos. And Magic's very vocal. I just think that would be the greatest team.
No, absolutely. Say, I see Kyle's in here, which I think he'll enjoy this next part, Mo. Kind of for our last segment of the night, I thought we'd have a little fun and do a little trivia. It's been a minute since we brought trivia into here, but I got a fun one, Mo. It's really simple. We're doing NBA Finals MVP, Mo. Jalen Brunson obviously just won Finals MVP this week. We got 10 minutes. Can we name all the Finals MVPs in history?
Now you're going way back. I ain't going even front and say I know all of them, but it'll be fun.
I'll say I think we can probably get most of them just off. This is just off vibes, but say you ready, Mo?
For sure.
All right, bet. So let's start it. We'll start with the easy one. Brunson. There we go. All right.
Brunson's good.
Let's see. All right, go back a year. OKC.
You got SGA.
Alex. For some reason, this site's just very doesn't like. I'd say we know that one. Gonna have to. For some reason, it doesn't. It needs the exact spelling of some of these names. But let's see. So Shea, and then there's Celtics. So that would be Brunson. Yeah, I don't even know. No, not Brunson. Brown. There it is. Thinking of too many B names. Let's see. All right. 2023. Jokic. Number 2022. Oh yeah.
23. And then the
22.
next one I think is Steph.
Yeah, and then yes.
I think it's Steph. And obviously the next the fault that will be Giannis, LeBron in the bubble. And before LeBron, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure Kawhi and the Raptors would have been. I think it was Kawhi and then LeBron.
Yeah, they got Kawhi in 2019 and Bron in 2020.
Am I right?
Yep. And then
okay. And then obviously the next ones are easier because we know that KD won back to back.
And then we know who won in 2015.
And then, see, this is easy so far because I know LeBron was before that because they went out and got KD after LeBron beat them.
No, absolutely. And then, of course, the year before Bron, you know what? In the words of Max Kellerman, right here, I want Iguodala. True all-time great quote.
Yes.
And then,
what did he say? Fate. He said fate of the world on the line or something like that. Who do you want shooting?
Yeah, fate of the universe on the
fate
line.
Of the universe.
The Martians have the
if it's fate of the universe, I'll take Steph.
Or I'll take this guy in 2011, Dirk Nowitzki. What a run he had. Ooh. What's nice about this game, too, though, Mo, is if somebody won multiple, it does register them all in one hit. 2010? Oh, yeah, that's just Kobe.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, so 2010, 2009 gives us.
We got Kobe.
Let's see. Oh, wait, Celtics.
And obviously, before that, Kyle's going to appreciate this. The Truth gave the Lakers work. By the way, during this year's NBA Finals, when the Spurs blew that incredibly huge lead, they had to bring up one of the most painful moments in my sports fandom when my Lakers, led by Kobe, blew a 24-point lead in the first half. And that's the reason why the Celtics won that series, but I digress.
Yeah, oh, fair. Let's see, the 07
Okay,
finals.
So, and then don't forget Tony Parker. Tony Parker's got an MVP.
Yeah. That was the Tony Parker year. 06. Oh, that's the Wade year.
Maybe it wasn't Tony Parker. I think it's Tony Parker.
Oh, yeah, that was Tony Parker. 05. Oh, duh.
And obviously, D Wade did his thing against the Mavs. I believe that was right before that.
Yep.
Which would have took us to
05. That was just Duncan, I think.
Is that Duncan? I think that's Duncan.
There it is. I got all three. Yep, that was just Duncan. 04 Pistons.
Which is then that's Chauncey Billups. And then obviously, wait a minute. Right. So then the next guy, because you got all the Duncans, that would be the next guy would be Shaq because the three-peat, right? Or no?
Yep. So you got both Duncans, the Shaq three-peat in the middle, which you know what, that just takes us to 98, which
Jordan.
Yeah, that guy's yeah, this Jordan guy's pretty reoccurring on this list.
And then the in-between guy obviously would be Olajuwon's 2 back-to-back MVPs.
Right.
Wait a minute. Jordan's first MVP was 1991. All right, so then it's Bad Boy Pistons time. That would be Isaiah and Dumars back-to-back. I think. Yeah. Right? Yep. It's Isaiah, Dumars, because the Pistons won back-to-back. Which goes to my Lakers. this is easy for me. James Worthy, and the year before that would have been Magic.
There we go. Oh, hey, I just typed in Johnson, and it also brought up Dennis on the 79.
Oh, I forget. Yeah. And for the Sonics.
Yeah.
Dang.
Let's see. And then the 86 Celtics, was that just Bird?
That's Larry Bird, which will bring up, because Bird is he won it multiple times. Okay. I don't know. So far, so good.
I was gonna say, because the 81 was, I know that's just Cedric Maxwell.
Cornbread.
83, wasn't that Malone?
Yes, it's 454. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Kareem, we already got Kareem, I think, right?
Yeah. Oh wait, no, we don't.
So Kareem would have been 80-45, but when you bring up Kareem, obviously that would bring up the 70-71 bucks.
Yep. And now we're into the fun. Well, at 77 Blazers is actually pretty easy. That's just Walton. Bullets, that'd be
dang. Wes Unseld.
Unseld, yes. I was gonna guess somebody else, but I might have. I'm gonna pull out a curveball here. See if this is. I got it. 76 Celtics. JoJo White.
I did not. That's the one I couldn't get.
Let's see. We know. I think Reed's on here. Willis Reed.
And Clyde Frazier's on there. But wait, dang. Kyle would know this. I believe John Havlicek won a Finals MVP. I want to say 74. No, maybe 74, or was it 73? I'm pretty sure John Havlicek is the Finals MVP. I'm pretty sure.
Let's see.
Oh, and Rick Barry.
Oh yeah, Rick Barry. That's the one I forgot.
I almost forgot. Rick Barry with the Warriors.
There's Hondo.
All right, we doing all right so far.
Yeah, actually, we only have two left. Who was the Finals MVP for your Lakers in 1969?
That's easy, Jerry West.
Oh, that's right. Only you got to win Finals MVP in a loss.
Mm-hmm.
And then the last one, who is the Finals MVP for your Lakers in 72?
Wilt. It was Wilt.
Oh, it doesn't like Wilt. Does Wilt really not have a Finals MVP?
I think Wilt won I think 71-72 is when that was the year that they won the crazy amount of games. I think that it was a crazy win streak with him and Jerry West and crew. I'm pretty sure Wilt is
there
the
it
MVP.
Is. It was. It just wasn't registering. Hey, but look at that, Mo. We did it. We actually got every single one.
Not surprising that the N1 guys know a little basketball. I'm not surprised.
Yeah. No, yeah, the hardest one for me was trying to remember like the 70s guys. But like I don't know, the minute that like we unlocked
I mean, you came through big time because I completely forgot about JoJo White. I did. I forgot about him. There was a couple of others that you got that I couldn't figure out, but JoJo White I would have never got.
For some reason, JoJo White hit when Dennis Johnson popped up. Because I was like, I know there's one more random guard in the 70s. Well, not random, Hall of Famer, but there's like one more guard in the 70s that won one that most people wouldn't get, and that's what hit me. I'm like, oh, I think JoJo won that one. Say no, but yeah, hey, that was a lot of fun.
I'm kind of fun.
I say I have to bring out have to find some more lists as we delve into the off season.
Yeah, you kind of like ignited my brain a little bit on that one. I enjoyed that. You got to do more of those.
No, absolutely. So what I'm thinking, Mo, for next week is by next Thursday the NBA draft will be done, so we can talk some draft.
That'll be fun.
our plans for the summer for everybody listening is kind of slowly. We'll still talk a lot of NBA, but we'll also like slowly transition more into like WNBA basketball. We'll talk some draft. We'll talk
That's
some
gonna be fun
historical
too.
hoops. So it's just going to be kind of the same as last summer, where it's a mix of current hoops, a lot of old timer lists, and just a lot of W talk. So, like I said, at the end of the day, our goal is let's create a fun environment to continue to grow the game. And like I said, I'm looking
Amen.
forward to it.
And hey, look, if you're a fan of hoops and you really love the game, period. If you're not watching the W, watch the W. This is if you're a hoop fan, there's great basketball being played, and there's some special young talents out there in that league. If you never heard or never seen Olivia Miles, take the time to see her.
I'm not even kidding when I say this, Mo. She might win MVP. It's a weird thing to say, and it's really early. She has to maintain this over the next like 40 games. I believe I actually have like 35-ish games left. But
right.
No, but as of right now, even the fact that a rookie is getting talked in the MVP race even this early is maybe one of the most absurd things I've heard in a minute. Like this, it's got to be maybe like I'm trying to find the right words to describe the Olivia Miles experience so far, Mo. Like the greatest start to a rookie season we've seen in a hot minute.
I would concur.
Regardless male or female, like basketball, like
I agree. Yeah, I don't care. We're just talking about hoops as hoopers, male, female. The start to her career is amazing. And look, I knew she was a hooper. I'm not gonna lie and say that I thought she was gonna be this good, this fast in the W. I knew she was gonna be good, but she's kind of skipped over good. She's great right now. That's scary.
No, absolutely, Mo. And the scary part too is like she's doing all this and Fee's hurt. Like Fee hasn't even played yet, and she's already picking the league apart.
Right.
Like to me, Mo, this would almost be like if, well, obviously she's kind of relative to her field, she's a much better like player already. It feels like her much better prospect, but this almost feels like Mo if like Tim Duncan in 03 got 07 Tony Parker instead of 03 Tony Parker.
Oh, I like that.
Like,
that's a good comp.
It's just so unprecedented to see somebody not only come in and dominate to the extent they have, but now you're like, she's not even the best player on the team, and the best player's coming back soon. And now you're just like, how do you even stop a Fee Olivia Miles pick and roll? Like, is it just pray? Like, leave every shooter wide open and pray that they miss? Is that the only way to guard it?
I think that's another reason why I'm so excited for when Fee gets back, because Olivia Miles is going to make life. Actually, I think they're going to make life easier for each other.
Absolutely. I think it'll be like a couple weeks, but I think give it a couple weeks and then we'll really see them start to click. I know a lot of people will be looking for them to click right away, but obviously we have to keep in mind that they've never played together. So it's one of those things that give them a couple weeks to really find their feel for each other, and it'll be some of the greatest. No, I'm not even kidding. I don't know how this might be the most excited I've been for a W season. Like the W playoffs, when we get there, with like hopefully seeing everybody like Fee, Miles, Stewart, Clark, like give me the star-studded playoffs. I want to enjoy the regular season, but Mo, part of me is like, can we just start the playoffs already and get everybody in?
Yeah, I'm here for it. I want buckets in there. I want all the big getting each other in the postseason. I'm excited for that. Like I said, we're fans of hoops, so we should talk a lot of W, along with the business of the off season of the NBA. But look, like you said, once we get past the draft, then we're talking about off season stuff, free agency, maybe a trade. There'll be some but I think the most compelling thing will be everything that's going on in the W.
No, absolutely. Let's say that being said, Mo, is there anything you want to add before we get up on out of here?
I just want to thank everybody for joining us. I know it's been a minute. You know what, guys? Sometimes life do get in the way, real life get in the way. Your boy is actually currently, my wife found her dream house. And look, if for anybody that's ever moved before, even when you find your dream home, moving sucks, packing and all that. And right now, our house looks like a war zone. And even now, as I'm doing the show, I used to have a room set up where I could do the show. I'm actually in my kitchen right now, with all kind of stuff around me. So yeah, I'm just happy to be back talking hoops with you, and I'm looking forward to next Thursday.
Absolutely. I'd say I believe I'll double check, but I'm off next Thursday and Friday, so we'll look to bring you some more fun, obviously high quality hoops content, and also obviously gotta bring back Meaty Boys at some point. Say I definitely got a lot to say about this Roman Reigns title reign. It's the most like underwhelming thing, honestly, to me. But
Yeah, you know what? We definitely got to do Meaty Boys because I'm completely confused about that storyline.
No, absolutely. But say, yeah, no, you all good, Mo. We get it. Take your time moving. You know how it is. Say, we'll always be here for you. Say, we're happy you found your dream home, though. Yeah, moving is awful, though.
It's god awful, but I appreciate you, partner. Thank you.
Say, absolutely. That being said, thank you everybody for tuning in, and I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your night.